Okay, we are now good to go. So welcome to the Civil Service Fast Stream and Diversity Internship Program Situational Judgement Questionnaire webinar. And my name is Oris Akomi, and my role at Elevation Network is to support you guys to ensure that you put in a strong application, application for the Civil Service Program, and to ensure that you're fully equipped and coached across the different stages of the application process. And what to expect from today, just to have a quick overview about Elevation Networks and what we are partnering with the Civil Service. And we're going to go through the Fast Stream and the Diversity Internship Program, what it is, and just a quick glance over it. And then focusing mainly on an understanding of the application stages, followed by understanding the Civil Service Competency Framework and what the Civil Service are looking for in the Situational Judgement Questionnaire stage, including key dates. But now a bit about our organization. So in essence, we develop leadership potential amongst young people, mainly focusing on people within university, so university students and undergrads and graduates. And we focus predominantly working with people from underrepresented group, focusing on people from Black, Asian, minority ethnic group, as well as people from low socio-economic background, which could also include a non-BAME group. And we focus on young women and girls. So for our leadership program called Visible Women, and we work in partnership with various organizations, with the Civil Service being one. And the reason why we work with these organizations is to provide opportunities to yourselves, and not just provide these opportunities to yourselves, but also provide the support and coaching that necessary to ensure that you put in a successful application. And part of that is, over between now and towards next calendar year, I'll be working with all of you throughout the application process for the Civil Service Fast Stream and Diversity Internship Program. Again, key dates for you to be aware of. I hope you should all be aware of this by now. And for the Fast Stream, the deadline, as I mentioned earlier, is 12 p.m. Thursday, the 25th of October. And for the Summer Diversity Internship Program, is exactly the same deadline. And if you know anyone or doing the Early Diversity Internship Program, by all means, also let them know that they can receive support from Elevation Networks. And the deadline for that is 12 p.m. Thursday, the 15th of November, 2018. So the scheme is a one-week program for the Early Diversity Internship Program. It's a one-week scheme, usually held in the spring. And it's just a chance for people to, who are interested in the civil service, to find out more about the organization, find out more what the civil service is about, the chance for them to network and attend social events, and also shadow a fast streamer on the program. And they get a chance to also attend various events and open and closing ceremony, and we're having high profile speakers sharing their insights during this event as well. And they get a chance to practice an assessment survival workshop, where they get a chance to learn more about the application process if they decide to go on to work at the civil service in the future. And this is London-based only, so travel expenses is covered. It's not a paid role, where it's just expenses for travel and accommodation is covered. Just for travel is covered, and food during that week. For the Summer Diversity Internship Program, this is a 6 to 9 weeks program where you really, a way to prepare for a place on the Fast Stream program if you do decide to go on to apply in the future. And you get to lead on many different career paths into the heart of government, and really gives you an insight into the different areas in the civil service Fast Stream program. And you get a chance to conduct research and assist in the creation of policy documents, where you get a feel for what the life of a fast streamer looks like, and you get to shadow senior civil servants. Again, some of you hopefully would have already researched about this information. So for the benefit of those who haven't done so, I just wanted to go through these quickly. Again, this is a paid role. So for London, it's $350, and for outside of London, it's $300. And who can apply, as I mentioned? So for the EDIP, it's first years only, and for SDIP, it's second and third year students. And a minimum of 2 degrees expected. And this is open to people from the Black, Asian, minority ethnic group, and people from a low social economic disadvantaged background. This could also be non-BAME group. and also candidates with disability, including physical and mental disability. And just to highlight this, if any of you are applying to SDIP and have any form of disability, including mental disability, please, it's important to declare that, because that way you might be exempted from some of the assessment process, particularly the behavioural test. So a quick glance over the selection process for EDIP and SDIP. It's an online test, which is made up of a situational judgment questionnaire, which we're going to go through today, behavioural test, and then if successful, you'll then be shortlisted and put forward to a telephone interview, which normally takes place in February, March next year, where you get the chance to go through a series of questions to see how you fare up against the civil service competencies. And if successful, you'll be offered a place. And for the fast stream, it's quite a lengthier process. Again, you register. There's a registration that takes place first, and then you do the situational judgment questionnaire as well as the behavioural questionnaire, and the online, followed by the online e-tray, electronic tray exercise. And this is then followed by a video interview, which is mainly strength-based interview. And then, if successful, you'll be invited to a assessment day, which focuses on 3 key areas: leadership, analysis, exercise, group exercise. And again, depending on the stream that you apply to, so some streams require additional assessment days after the first one. So this only applies to the diplomatic service, House of Parliament, science and engineering, digital and technology, European comms, delivery, project delivery, economic social research, and operational research and statistician. So these are the only streams that require additional assessment. So again, just a quick summary. The online test is made up of the situational judgment questionnaire, behavioural test, and a numerical test. Again, this is only for the fast stream candidates applying to the finance and commercial stream. So this is the point I'm going to for us to focus on today. What is the civil service looking for? So some of you may have already familiarized yourself with what is known as the civil service competency framework. Every assessment stage is measured against this competency framework. So for every organization, they have a series of ways that they, what they deem as a successful employee within the organization. So, and they measure everyone against these competencies that are designed in line with the work that they do on a day-to-day basis. So in this case of the civil service, they have highlighted these 3 key areas, which is broken into broken into 10 sections. So when completing the situational judgment questionnaire, it's important to bear in mind these different competency frameworks. You can find out more about the competency framework online. So if you search on Google, civil service competency framework, it would come up with a PDF highlighting with a detailed information about the different competencies. And the area for you to focus on is the HEO, which is the higher executive office level. So this is level 3. This is the section that's applicable to people applying to the fast stream and diversity internship program. So this is where you want to pay your attention. And what we have done is also created a summary, a shorter version of the competency framework for you to have a look through, which I will send after this webinar for you to have a look, for you to read through. In addition to that, I would highly recommend to go through the main website to read through the framework if you haven't already done so. So I'm going to focus on what it is and what's the purpose of it. So about this framework, the Civil Service Competency Framework supports the civil service reform plan and performance management system. The competency framework sets out how they want people in the civil service to work. It puts the civil service values of honesty, integrity, impartiality, and objectivity at the heart of everything that is done, that the civil servants work on in a huge range of jobs across the country and overseas. But one thing they all have in common is that they are here to support the elected government, providing advice to help shape its policies and ensuring seamless, practical implementation in line with those policies. Again, just to highlight some of the points that I've just mentioned there, the framework has been set to ensure that civil servants deliver against the civil service values, which are honesty, integrity, impartiality, and objectivity. And the mistake most people make when completing application forms is they tend to miss out on understanding what the organizations are looking for, understanding the competencies or behaviors that they measure their successful candidates against. And most people tend to answer the situational judgment question in particular based on how they would view a situation, instead of responding to it based on how the civil service expect a civil servant to respond to the situation, i.e. to respond to it in a way that's honest, they respond based on integrity, they are impartial, and it's objective. So it's not based on your opinion, but it's based on an objective view. So these are key things to bear in mind when completing your situational judgment questionnaire. So the first part I'm going to go through is seeing the bigger picture. So this focuses on, it's about having an in-depth understanding and knowledge of how your role fits with and supports organizational objectives and the wider public needs and the national interest. For all staff, it is about focusing your contribution on the activities which will meet civil service goals and deliver the graduates the greatest value. For leaders, it is about scanning the political context and taking account of wider impacts to develop long-term implementation strategies that maximize opportunities to add value to the citizen and support economic and sustainable growth. But that's what the purpose of the bigger picture is. Again, the second element is changing and improving. So people are effective in this area, take initiative, are innovative, and seeking out opportunities to create effective change. Again, for all staff, it's about learning from what has worked as well as what has not worked, being open to change and improvement and working in a smarter, more focused ways. Next to that is making effective decisions. So again, this is looking at using sound judgment based on evidence and knowledge to arrive to an accurate, expert, and professional decisions and advice. Again, this is crucial, particularly for the situational judgment questionnaire. So they will ask you a series of hypothetical scenarios and then measure to see how you'd respond to these. Again, as I said, the temptation is to respond to it based on how you think it should be responded to, as opposed to using the civil service competency framework to base your answer and respond to it how a civil servant will respond to it. And the fourth one is leading and communicating. Again, it's about showing your pride and passion for public service, communicating purposefully and with direction and clarity and enthusiasm to people to stakeholders, people that you come in contact with in your day-to-day working life. And it's about championing the differences and external experiences and supporting principles of fairness and opportunity for all. So as a civil servant, it's about knowing that you'll be serving the interests of everyone in the country from different backgrounds, both social, political, religious, and sexual orientation as well. So it's about being mindful to ensure that whatever you do is that's being communicated effectively with different groups that you will be working with. And then collaborating and partnering. Again, this looks at people who are team players. Again, every organization expects you to be able to work in a collaborative manner with people from different backgrounds. So something to bear in mind. And building capability for all. This is looking at your focus on continuous learning and developing yourself, and achieving commercial outcomes. Again, it's about looking at how, using, let's say you have a budget of £10,000, you're looking at how do you effectively utilize that budget to get the best possible results, obviously delivering quality, also looking at how you can, save taxpayers money. So let's assume you're given the budget to put together a street lamp, or for example, it's about thinking, okay, by implementing the street lamp, what other ways can this serve wider public needs? So it's about thinking in a way that, thinking in a commercial savvy way, and looking at how you effectively use money and finances in a sustainable way. So, and there's delivering value for money. Again, it's a crucial part of the civil service day-to-day work because you're using taxpayers' money. And then it's a managing a quality service. Again, it's delivering things based on objectives and taking account into the diverse customer needs that you will be serving. And finally, delivering at pace. And this is if looking at delivering within and so in a timely fashion. So imagine now this, one of the key focus in government at the moment is Brexit. So it's important there's a date to exit the European Union. So people who are working on that are expected to deliver projects or policies on time. And the last thing you want, imagine you're given a Brexit policy, you finish it, say a month after Brexit, that will be ineffective. So in essence, this is why we test people to see how capable you are to finish tasks within time, within a timely fashion, and delivering quality at pace. So that's an overview of what the civil service are looking for. Again, just a quick run through. So key things to be mindful of is the civil service core values, which are honesty, integrity, impartiality, and objectivity. And also bearing in mind that every assessment stage, from the situational judgment questionnaire to the behavioural test and right through to the assessment centre, are going to be measured against the civil service competency framework. So it's about refraining from using your own opinion and judgment, but to study, practice, and understand the competency framework, so that when you answer questions, you're already thinking like a civil servant. And if you follow those processes, you're most likely than not, you will be successful. So as I mentioned earlier, a competency framework is skills, knowledge, and behaviors that lead to successful performance. And it sets out how the civil service want people to behave, or how they want them to work. And it's used for recruitment, performance management, and development discussions, and for decisions about progression. So, what to be aware of, and what are the areas that you should focus on, particularly in the competency framework document in relation to the situational judgment test, and what are the tips, top tips when practicing for the test. So the first thing to be aware of is the situational judgment questionnaire asks you to decide on the best course of action given some work-based scenarios. So some of you might have already gone through a practice question. We'll get a chance to practice one before the end of the webinar. But it's the chance for you to, you're given a scenario and to respond to it based on what you think is the most effective response or the least effective response. Again, this usually tricks people out, because when you see most effective, meaning the clue is in the name. They're all effective. However, one is most effective and the other is less effective. So you're scored against, you get a full mark if you get the correct answers right. If you choose one that is effective, but it's not the least effective, or it's not the most effective, you will still get a mark, or it'll be half a mark. And what they advise, the civil service advice, is to always aim for a 75 to 80% mark pass rate, because what often happens is, depending on the overall performance from everyone applying to the program this year, they may increase the pass rate or decrease it. So you want to always aim for at least, I would say, moving up to be on the safer side, actually, it'll be from 80 to 85% to be on the safe spot. So again, you have the chance to practice before you go on to do the real thing. Again, the key areas I'll be assessed are decision-making and other civil service competency areas. So you want to study the decision-making part of the competency framework as well as the other areas. And tips are: try practice question on the Fast-Stream website, which you'll get a chance to do so shortly, and carefully read the given scenarios before answering a question. Consider what would be the best response. Again, it's about bearing in mind being objective, not your own opinion, but how a civil servant will respond to it based on the competency framework. I'm going to say that word 1,000,001 times throughout today and during the process of the application. And also it's about using the civil service, again, competency framework, as a criteria for guiding your responses. And the questions are unlimited. So like I said, once you start, you have up to 5 days to complete it. However, you must complete it in one, you have usually about 30 minutes blocked to complete the whole thing, but you have up to 5 days to complete it when you start. So that's a bit about, what's an overview of the situational judgment questionnaire and what will be assessed. and what to focus on to help prepare you for the test. Again, the behavioral test, this is what follows through. Again, there isn't a practice question for this because it's measured against, it's impossible to practice against your behavior. But these questions are set to, to rate yourself against the civil service competencies again. And it assesses against all competency areas. So this is why it's crucial to study and understand the framework before taking the test. And with this, the tips are: think about your own personal qualities in relation to the civil service competency areas. And it's about also responding honestly in terms of your preferred style of working and when you're at your best. And again, similar to the SJQ, it is untimed. However, don't spend too long on any one question. And you have up to usually about 30 minutes block to complete it. So that brings us to the end, the formal end of the presentation. So I'm going to come back on the screen. Welcome back. So that gives us a bit of an idea of an overview about what to expect in the situational judgment questionnaire. So what we're now going to do is to get the chance to ask questions as well as do a quick practice. So I have a question ready to say, can third-year students apply for the Summer Diversity Internship Program? Yes, third-year students can apply. And yes, so it's open to second and third-year students to apply to the Summer Diversity Internship Program. Again, I say we'll start taking questions soon. But what I want to do quickly is for us to, in fact, would you want to practice now or use this time to ask questions? So we have about 25 minutes. Would you want to use this time to ask questions or go through the practice question? Just give me an idea of what you would prefer, what would be most effective for you at this stage. So if I could have you guys just to share, again, if you have general comments, just use the both section. The Q&A is for questions. Save the Q&A tab for questions and use the chat section for general comments. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, what I will do is go on just bear with me. There we go. I'm just bringing up the practice question. So I'm going to share a link for you. So if you can all click on that link. So if I get to click on that link that I've just shared to everyone, and that will take you straight to a practice question. Okay, people have responded said it's not working. What I would suggest you do then, if you go onto on your website, on your computer, if you are on a laptop, can I suggest that you type in civil service situational judgment questionnaire on Google. Or if you type in FastStream 2018 hyphen the online tests hyphen the civil service FastStream. So I suggest you copy and paste that and search for that on Google. It should bring up a link that takes you to, you should find a link that says faststream.blog.gov.uk. Can everyone see that? Is there anyone that cannot see the link that says FastStream 2018 hyphen the online test hyphen civil service FastStream? Let me know if you are still having difficulties. So found it, okay. Let me know if you still having difficulties accessing the link. I've posted what should be what you should put into Google. It's been posted, so it's called FastStream 2018 hyphen the online test hyphen civil service FastStream, and that should bring you to a page says for you to click onto a link that says faststream.blog.gov.uk, which takes you directly to a link to click onto the practice test. Okay, we're going to get started. If you haven't found it, I would say just follow the instruction on the screen in the chat box to access it. So can everyone now see the test? Just a quick yes, just to indicate that you can now see. Okay, yes from everyone. Okay, okay, let's get started. So what I would suggest is click on the practice questions for the situational judgment questions. This is what the real thing will look like. So if you click on start and have a quick read through, or you can go back to this link again, you can have as many practice as possible using this link at a later date. Again, the real test will have up to 25 questions, whereas in this case, you only have to go through 5 questions. And what you're looking for are the most effective and least effective responses to your questions. So once you've gone through that, I'll click on next, and then it explains to you how to respond, and then you have the chance. So what we'll do, we'll give it give another sort of 10 minutes to go through. So we'll be done. Let's aim to be finished by, actually, I think you should be able to go through this in 8 minutes. Again, if you don't have the chance to complete it, you can also go through it later on. What I would say, make a note of your answers that you selected first. And however, it will give you the correct answer at the bottom of the screen, but make a note of the answer you chose first of all, and then we'll go through that in a discussion later on. Is there anyone that has yet to find the link to the test? Is everyone okay with, has everyone located the test? If anyone has any question in the meantime, feel free to type it in the Q&A section. Any question regarding the test? Let's give you guys about, what's the time now? So have another 5 minutes or so. Practice it at your own sort of convenience. So I'll give you another 2 minutes before we continue with sort of the feedback on the answers, and also go through some of the answers that you chose. So what I would like to do was to find if anyone, 1 or 2 people would be happy to nominate themselves, just to share what answers they chose and to measure that against what the correct, what the most and least effective answers are. Again, there is no, there's, I hope there is no one's judging you if you do get it wrong, but it'd just be good, just be useful for us to, find some practice with someone, just to know what the main thing is about understanding your thought process and the thinking behind choosing certain answers. So what I would suggest is if anyone would be willing, just 1 or 2 people willing to nominate themselves, and I will make it so that people can hear you. Again, by all means, feel free to turn off. You don't have to show yourself, but if you can allow me to unmute your audio so that everyone can hear you share your thoughts behind your answer. So if that's you, let me know if you'd like to nominate yourself. Thank you very much. We have a few more seconds to go. Okay. Right, bear with me whilst I come back onto the screen. Stop sharing and video. Welcome back. So just a quick, okay, someone said they could not access the screen, to access the link, keeps giving me an error. What I would suggest is maybe try again, delete any whatsoever cookies on your website, web page, or any history that you may have, and try again. If not, let us know and we'll find a way to get the link across to you. So how did you guys find that? Just quickly, just how did you find the process? Just if you can share your thoughts, I'm keen to hear your thoughts on how you found the process. Who's willing to go first? Again, if you'd like to share so people can hear you, just let me know, and I will promote you. So mine tickling, there were many closed options. Okay. Is there anyone willing to volunteer so everyone can hear you share your thoughts? Do I have any takers? You should have an option to raise your hand. That indicates that you'd like to, you're happy for me to promote you so we can hear you share your thoughts. If that's you, I can suggest that you either choose the raising of the hand button or just write a comment. I need someone, please, to kind of volunteer themselves. It makes it a lot more interactive and beneficial to everyone else to hear your thoughts. Again, it's okay if it's the wrong answer, because I know that's probably a reason why people may not want to share their thoughts. Come on, guys, we haven't got much time left. Anyone willing to volunteer themselves? Still no one. Okay. On that note, should we just go with general comments and thoughts? So I know someone has said it was mind tickling. So I'm going to go with one of the questions. With number one, what did you guys choose as the most effective and the least effective for number one? So if you could comment, just let me know what you chose as your most and least effective. Okay. Yes, they are similar. And this is why it's tricky, you know, as the clues in the name, you know, they all could be effective and they all could be least effective. But the key is to understand which one is most effective and which one is least effective. So yeah, it can be quite tricky. This is why, so I know you guys didn't have the chance to prepare to read through the competency framework beforehand. So now that when you have the chance to read it, you'll be able to let's give you a better understanding how to tackle the questions. So Leah's most effective was B, and the correct answer to that is C. But I'm just keen, Leah, would you be happy to share what you're thinking, your thoughts behind choosing B as your most effective? Are you happy for me to promote you so others can hear you share your thoughts? Just drop me a yes if you'd like to do that. Okay, that's enough. No worries at all. And would anyone else like to share? Akansha, I know you said you chose C as your most effective. Would you be able to share your thoughts behind choosing C, which of course is the correct answer? Okay, would either of you be happy to share why you chose C and what led you to choosing C? No one? I don't know what the reasons are why people don't want to share, but I just wanted my thoughts were that rewriting it without any authority will be. There is, I mean, this is why it's a practice. This is why it's a safe space for you to get it wrong. Obviously, the benefit is if you get it wrong now, at least you're able to understand what to do next time. So are you happy for me to promote you so we can hear you share your thoughts, Udoka? Okay, excellent. Thank you for that. I reckon you deserve a high five for that. Thank you. Fire away. What made you choose C as the most effective? If I could ask you to also unmute your mic so that we can hear you, that would be fantastic. We cannot hear you, unfortunately. Okay, having technical difficulties there. Would anyone else be willing to share? I know, Akansha, you said you shared your thoughts. Would you be happy to share your thoughts so everyone can hear you? From to promote audio. No worries at all. Okay, very nice place. Is there anyone else who would be happy to share their thoughts as to what they chose and why they chose what they chose? Because what this does, it helps other people to really understand the thinking process. Pardon me. And it also allows me to be able to contribute to your responses, so that way it makes it more enriching to everyone else, and you gain a lot more from it as a result. Anyone else happy to share? We have about 5 minutes. I suppose even the ones happy to share, which is absolutely fine. There is no problem whatsoever. I suppose we can use this time to answer any questions that you may have in relation to the situational judgment question. Again, if I could advise that you use the Q&A button to ask any questions. That way we can help to manage the questions effectively and yeah, to keep track of the question that you're asking. So I suppose we use this chance now to go through questions and answers. Again, as I said at the beginning, there's no such thing as a silly question. So I'd like to encourage you to ask whatever it is that whatever it is that you want to get across before you start practicing, or before you do the real thing. Again, internet. If I can ask you, use the Q&A button, please. The Q&A option to ask questions. But there's a question asked, a general question: can international students apply for a fast stream? Yes, international students can apply for a fast stream. However, what you would need to do is on the faststream.gov.uk website, there is an option that asks you to choose to enter your nationality, and it tells you which streams that you can apply to. So as a European citizen, national, you can apply. There are certain streams that you can't apply to, but there are ones that you can also apply to. And also people from the Commonwealth nations can apply to work on the fast stream. Again, it's about choosing what your nationality is, and it will list the options of streams that you can apply to. So the answer is yes. However, you need to check on the faststream.gov.uk website to see which streams you're eligible to apply. Any other question? You're welcome. Any questions, guys? Whilst we're waiting for more questions, can I ask you all to please kindly complete a survey, which I'm just about to launch. There are 3 questions in total. It should take no more than 1 minute to complete. If I could ask you all to just give us a feedback on how you found the webinar, and if there's any particular, to see how effective it was for you. and what can be done in the future to make it better for you. So if I could ask all 12 remaining participants attend this currently to complete the survey, that would be much appreciated. Again, for those of you who are still left, the webinar has officially come to an end. However, if you'd like to book in a one-to-one coaching, I will be sending out an email after this webinar. We're receiving an email from us soon with available options for when to book a coaching slot. And that way we'll be able to manage the slots effectively, and it's on a first come first serve basis. You can book in a one-to-one coaching slot with myself, and I'll just ask any general questions that you may have over the coming days before you start working the application form. Completed, thanks. Excellent. So another question says, hi, questions, why the most effective ACE? Why is the most effective ACE since that option actually dealt with the issue at hand? So the question is for question 2, why is the most, so for question number 2, the most effective is B. Thank you for your feedback, Karen. I will do that, bear that in mind for next time. International students can apply to the fast stream. However, depending on what it says, it's open to Commonwealth national citizens, so they can apply to the civil service fast stream, as well as European citizens. But you need to select, enter your nationality, and then that way it will give you options of streams that you can and cannot apply to. So I'm going to go through an option for question 2. So the question was, your line, this question 2 says you're responsible for organizing and coordinating the regular meetings of a cross-government group working on public health. Unfortunately, while director level attendance is requested, many directors have started to delegate their attendance, and you are concerned that the group is losing momentum and influence. What should you do? So with that being the most effective being B, it's where possible, speak to each directors prior to the main meeting to discuss the issues of importance to them on the agenda so that they see the benefit of attending. So if you go back to the question, so it says, you are responsible for organizing and coordinating the regular meetings of a cross-government group working on public health. Again, it's quite an important meeting. There's a keywords, there's a cross-government group. So unfortunately, while director level attendance is requested, many directors have started to delegate their attendance, and you are concerned that the group is losing momentum. So another keyword there is government. Another keyword is director levels attendance is requested. So it's important for them to be there. So the reason why that's the most effective is, where possible, speak to each of the directors prior to the main meeting to discuss the issue of importance to them on the agenda, so they see the benefit of them attending. So that's why it's the most effective option, because of those clues in the question. So with A, so email each of the directors, encouraging them to add their own items of interest to the agenda so they see the benefit of attending. Again, because they haven't, emailing is one way. Again, that's an option that you can use. However, the issue with email that you cannot guarantee when someone will see it. So remember, there's probably a time deadline for them to when to attend the meeting. So email, you can't guarantee when they'll see it, when they'll respond. And also email isn't the most effective way of getting, based because of the nature of this meeting, to get the points across, because you can't always judge people's, response or reaction over email, and it delays that. It could also prolong the conversation. Whereas compared to ringing up or speaking to them directly over the phone or in person, you get answers a lot quicker, and also you can also have the chance to convince them to attend and for them to see the importance of actually being there, whereas you may not get it across in email. So this is why B is the most effective, although A is also effective, but it's not the most effective. So I hope that gives a bit of an idea as to how to manage or tackle the questions. In this case, yeah, speaking in person, basically because of the nature of particularly with this question, because of how important the meeting is. So yes, speaking in person or speaking to them directly, either in person or over the phone, is more effective. It's more effective than email. So if you compare it to the other options are email, and it says before each meeting, send a director a simple but engaging email. Again, that's another email option. Again, the third one is send an email reminder of the meeting date. Again, it's not really getting anything across. So again, this is why that is the most effective. Okay, so I would have to we have to end the webinar. Again, if you have any questions, guys, feel free to give us drop us an email or ask us any questions at a later date. Are the questions going to be linked? So the questions are all linked to the all not linked. It's not linked to the specific roles. No, it's a test that's tested across this competency framework. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope to continue engaging with you guys in the near future. Have a wonderful day.